Hi everybody, it's Oops Pa Katie, and I am here with a different kind of video for you today. I am doing a book review. Oh yeah! So I've got a project going on here. I have a goal this year. I would like to read 2 novels a month. It's a very modest goal, I think. I don't know. 2 novels a month for the year, each month for the full year. So that's 24 novels, and I'd like to do book reviews for all of them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So for this month, I'm in the middle of reading 2 books, and I finished the first book. So this is going to be my very first book review. Woohoo! Okay, sorry. So the book that I just reviewed or just finished reading is called The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the author. The author was born in Afghanistan and grew up there when he was a young man in the 1970s. And his parents were diplomats, and during the Russian invasion in 1980, they sought asylum in the U.S. and it was granted to them, and they came over. And so Husseini grew up in the U.S. Afterwards, got a medical degree and became a physician, and this is the very first book that he's written. Anyways, the story itself is about a young man growing up in Afghanistan, and he makes a critical error, a really bad decision when he's 12 years old, and it sets the tone of his life for much of his young adult years. And then when he's 38 years old, he's given a chance to, in a way, redeem that decision. He can't take it back, and he can't change all the consequences of that decision, there are lots of them, and they affect not just his life, but the life of a lot of his loved ones. And it's very sad and very tragic in many ways. But at 38, he gets a chance to, as one of the characters in the book says, to become good again. For me, the book seemed to be broken into three sections. The first, so many chapters are about what his life was, this young boy's life was like, and how the circumstances developed in his life, so that when he came to this decision, he makes the decision that he makes. And it explains to you kind of, it's a difficult position he was in. It was a difficult decision to make, and you understand why he made the one you may not agree with it, but you understand why he did it. And then the aftermath of that decision. There's a lot of things that happen the year after that he makes that decision that tear a lot of people and relationships apart. And then there's a quiet period, and his life, there's some political turmoil in Afghanistan. Many of the people are trying to get out and leave and come to the U.S. He and his father are trying to get out, and that starts for me the second section. I'm not giving anything away because that's what's written on the back of the book, but that starts for me what is the second section of the book, and you have this kind of new beginnings in this new life. However, the decision he made when he was 12 still follows him to the U.S. and to his new life, and it still overshadows everything he says and everything he does and how he interacts with people. And so that takes up a section of the book, and then there is for what is for me a final section, and another break. And this is where he gets a call from an old friend. This is also written on the back of the book, so I'm not giving anything away. He gets a call from an old friend, and this chance to, in a way, redeem himself. And so the last section of the book deals with the story around returning, and then there's more choices he has to make and more decisions, and the way he chooses to, and the things that he does, and his efforts to redeem himself in a certain way. And so that's the book in a nutshell. I've got 3 really positive things to say about this book. The first thing is that I think that Khaled Hosseini is a wonderful storyteller. I think that if you pick up this book and read the first 2 pages, you are going to be drawn in. Just in the first 2 pages alone, you are going to want to know what happens to this young man, what is the decision he makes, how does it impact his life, his family, his relationships, and you're going to want to empathize with him, and you're going to be disappointed with him, but you're going to understand him. And this author really is a really good storyteller. Also, another great thing about the book is because the author has lived and grew up in Afghanistan, and during part of the actual political turmoil that was going on in the 70s, 80s, and is closely tied to what's the reconstruction that was taking place after 2000, you feel when you read the book that it's very authentic. The things that he writes about, the experiences, the way things are done, you feel that this is an accurate account or an authentic account of some parts of Afghan culture. And for me, that's a really big winner. I feel like after having read this book that I have like a little tiny peek into what it was like to grow up in Afghanistan, and what a little bits and pieces about Afghan culture that I wouldn't have known any other way. And that brings me to my third point, which is that I think that this book, for a lot of people, will really help them to see Afghans in a new way, in a new light, in a much more personal way, and in a very relatable way. I think when people who don't know anything about Afghanistan, and other than the negative things that are on the news, read this book, that they're going to be able to relate to these characters and some of the culture, not all of it, but some of it, and that they're going to walk away from this book with a greater appreciation for what it means to be an Afghan, and the value of their culture, and more respect for them, which I think is a really, really, really good thing, especially in this day and age. Anyways, and so those are the three really great things I can say about this book. But what did I think of the book personally? People, I'm so sorry, but this book is not for me. Oh no, sorry, Bob. There are 391 pages, 25 chapters. The first 7, 8, I'll say 8. The first 8 chapters were, as far as I was concerned, very good, very interesting, very engaging, very intriguing. I was really engaged in it. I really wanted to know what was happening to this character. And then the last 13 chapters for me are what I would say the word that comes to mind that best describes my experience is absolutely suffocating. Suffocating. The grief, the sorrow, the turmoil. There were pockets in the last 13 chapters. There were pockets of what I call relief. I was saying to Combatoasis about it, like, I would read, and I would be like, I do not want to read anymore. I can't read this book anymore. And then suddenly there would be like this pocket of relief. It would be a few pages, maybe a whole chapter, and then we get thrown back into the turmoil again, and it weighed so heavy on me. I thought it was really suffocating. So this is my review of The Kite Runner, and I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you got something out of it, and for those of you who are going to go on and read the book, kudos to you. I think that you're really going to enjoy it, and for those of you who are a little more timid and not sure, take your chances. Make sure you got a shoulder to cry on, because you may need it. Alrighty, folks, I'm going to chit chat with you later.